Your Excellency, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, the 8th Secretary General of the United Nations, Dr. Yoon Dong-seop, President of the Yonsei University, Your Excellency, Madame Kang Kyung-hwa, the former Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Korea, Dr. Jim Yong Kim, former President of the World Bank, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to be here today at the Global Engagement and Empowerment Forum on Sustainable Development. It would be remiss of me not to start by acknowledging the visionary leadership of Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, a leadership which was instrumental in giving birth to the SDGs. Today, the SDGs have become synonymous with humanity's collective commitment to a better and more sustainable future. And to this day, Secretary General Ban continues to serve as its tireless champion, making a difference towards its realization. I also wish to thank Yonsei University for its long-standing support for the aspirations embodied in the SDGs. The fact that this is the 6th Global Engagement and Empowerment Forum being hosted by the Yonsei University speaks to its robust contributions to raising awareness of the SDGs. When the SDGs were launched back in 2015, no one harbored any illusions that the goals would be easy to attain. But the far-reaching changes that have taken place since then have vastly compounded the difficulties in realizing them. The tectonic shifts in the geopolitical landscape, punctuated by 2 ongoing armed conflicts, not least among those changes. The rules-based international order, which has been vital to global stability and prosperity, is also at risk of unraveling. From the impact of climate change and pandemics to food insecurity and supply chain disruptions, crises abound. Over 110 million people are displaced, and more than 700 million live in extreme poverty, a dire situation exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Global gas emissions hit a staggering 37 billion tons in 2023, the highest since 1990, highlighting a pressing need for urgent climate action. And the strategic competition between the United States and China is casting a long shadow on the global economy, trade, energy, and supply chains. As we pass the halfway mark for achieving the SDGs, an assessment of the state of implementation reveals a sobering reality. Only 15% of the goals are currently on track to being met, with many regressing. In Europe, North America, and Central America, only 20 out of 117 measurable SDG targets are on track, a mere 17%. The current trajectory shows that the Asia and the Pacific region is expected to achieve the SDGs as late as 2062. As such, the SDGs are literally on life support. As Secretary General Guterres said, we need a global rescue plan for the SDGs. As the deadline for achieving the SDGs draws near, the international community must step up and make stronger concerted efforts to turn the tide. I'd like to highlight 3 areas that should be central to such efforts. First and foremost, a reformed, inclusive, and networked multilateralism centered on the United Nations. Today, multilateralism is arguably facing one of its lowest moments since the Cold War due to rising nationalism and escalating geopolitical, geoeconomic, and geotechnological rivalries. As a result, there are pervasive doubts about what multilateralism can in fact accomplish. But the complex nature of the challenges we face and the collective solutions that are needed to address them beckon for stronger multilateralism. This year, there will be several key opportunities to demonstrate the resilience of multilateralism and how it can contribute to the SDGs. For the first time in a decade, the UN will host the International Conference on Small Island Developing States, or SEADS, and the UN Conference on Landlocked Developing Countries, or LLDCs. These platforms will address the acute challenges faced by SEEDs and LDCs, which often grapple with isolated geographical locations, impeding access to trade, communication, and markets. The Summit of the Future in September represents a once-in-a-generation opportunity to revitalize trust in multilateralism. The discussions on financing for development, peace, technology and innovation, youth, and global governance must help to lay the foundation for a sustainable future. The international community must rise to the occasion and make sure that this summit and the Pact for the Future, led by Secretary General Guterres, reignite the momentum for accelerating the achievement of the SDGs. Second, an integrated approach to development cooperation focused on the humanitarian peace development nexus. Peace, development, and human rights are intertwined and mutually reinforcing goals that constitute the three main pillars of the United Nations. They are three faces of the same reality, as former Secretary General Kofi Annan eloquently put it. Indeed, there is no peace without development, and no development without peace. Equally true is that neither development nor peace is sustainable without respect for human rights. The interplay between these three pillars and the multifaceted nature of the global challenges we face today call for a holistic and integrated approach. We must de-silo security, development, and humanitarian work. Korea's journey from the ruins of the Korean War in the early 1950s to the robust economy and vibrant democracy of today offers a living testament to the transformative power of an integrated approach to the humanitarian, peace, and development nexus. Another notable example is the Gambia, a nation supported by the UN Peacebuilding Commission, which I had the privilege to chair in 2017. The country was at the critical juncture of political transition right after an authoritarian leader was removed from power the previous year. With the political and financial support from the PBC and the United Nations more broadly, the transfer of power proceeded smoothly and peacefully, and political stability created new opportunities for the pursuit of both development and peace. With the sustaining of peace, the Gambia's economy today is showcasing the remarkable resilience, even in the face of multiple global challenges. Third, narrowing the financial gap for the SDG implementation. The annual SDG funding gap has risen from $2.5 trillion before COVID to $4.2 trillion. This must be reversed. While official development assistance will continue to be an essential instrument for achieving the SDGs, we should step up our efforts to explore all avenues for mobilizing resources to meet the SDGs. To address the needs of all nations, irrespective of their economic status, we must maintain our aspiration for a new Bretton Woods moment, focusing on reforming the international financial architecture. Multilateral development banks must be bigger, bolder, and better as a driving force for the 2030 agenda. Korea, as the co-chair of the International Financial Architecture Working Group at the G20, will contribute to advancing this critical agenda. We must also make the best of the 4th UN International Conference on Financing for Development next year in Spain. This gathering is set to bring together world leaders for a comprehensive review of the Addis Ababa Action Agenda. As such, it will mark a pivotal milestone in our journey to diversify development finance.